Refugee Blues by W.H. Auden. W.H. Auden was a famous Anglo-American poet. He rose to fame with the publication of his first collection of poems entitled Poems. His first collection of poetry entitled Poems was published in 1930. The other striking poems of W.H. Auden are Spain in Memory of W. B. Yeats, September 1, 1939, Musée des Beaux, The Unknown Citizen, New Year Letter, and The Shield of Achilles. The awards he received: he won the Pulitzer Prize for The Age of Anxiety in 1947 and the National Book Award for The Shield of Achilles in 1955. The poem Refugee Blues was written in March 1939 when anti-Semitism was at its raging peak. Anti-Semitism, the feeling against the Jews, was at its raging peak. So this feeling of hatred against the Jews was very strong, and it is at such a time that this poem was written. It was later included in 10 songs. Included in the collection 10 songs. Refugee Blues laments the sad plight of the Jews who were threatened to leave the country before the Holocaust to the modern democracies and the indifference and antagonism they faced while seeking asylum there. The poem laments the sad, miserable condition of the Jews. They were threatened to leave the country, leave Germany before the Holocaust, before the mass killing of the Jews. They have been given a warning they were asked to leave the country. The Jews were brutally cornered, imprisoned and killed under Hitler, and more cruelly ignored by the great secular democracies of the world. The Jews were forced to flee from their country, run away from the country, and the other countries, the democratic countries, were reluctant to receive them. The speaker of the poem is a Jewish refugee who is addressing his lover about the abysmal plight of the refugees of the world. The speaker of the poem is a Jewish refugee. Refugee is a person who has to flee the country, run away from the country to go to live in some other country. He is a Jewish refugee who is addressing his lover about the abysmal plight of the refugees of the world. The poem the speaker of the poem is a Jewish refugee. He is speaking to his beloved. He is speaking about the miserable condition of the Jews. The term blues of the title stands for a song that laments an event which is depressing, a meter that the American blacks used in their protest poetry. The term blues, it means a depressing state, a very sad, miserable state. It also stands for a song, a folk song, which is common among the American blacks. The meter used in this poem is one that is used by the American blacks in their protest poetry. Now coming to the poem, you can see that the poem is in 12 stanzas. The poem consists of 12 stanzas of 3 lines each, with the rhyme scheme of A, B. Say this city has 10 million souls. Some are living in mansions, some are living in halls. Yet there is no place for us, my dear, yet there is no place for us. You can notice the first 2 lines, they have end rhymes. These lines rhyme together. Souls, halls. But the third line stands out. The first 2 lines rhyme at the end. The rhyme scheme is A, B. Say this city has 10 million souls. 10 million souls, 10 million people are living in this city. 10 million people are living in this city. This is also an example of hyperbole. The figure of speech is hyperbole. Hyperbole is a deliberate and a obvious exaggeration of things. അതിശയോക്തി കലർത്തി പറയുക. That's a hyperbole. Say this city has 10 million souls. 10 million people. So the city referred to here is New York, but it also stands for any modern city, any modern European or American city. Say this city has 10 million souls. 10 million people live in this city. Some are living in mansions, some are living in halls, some are living in large houses. Some people are lucky, they live in large houses, enjoying all the comforts, but some people are living in halls. Some have an animal existence. Some are living like animals in huts which look like halls. Animal imagery also is in here. Some are living in halls. Yet there is no place for us, my dear. Yet there is no place for us. But there is no room for us. In this city 10 million people live. But there is no room for us. There is no place for us, my dear. Yet there is no place for us. The speaker, who is a Jewish refugee, is speaking to his beloved. Say this city has 10 million souls. Some are living in mansions, some are living in halls. Yet there is no place for us, my dear. Yet there is no place for us. Once we had a country and we thought it fair. Once we had a country. Really, we are not people without a country. We also had a country once. And we thought it fair. We thought it is good to live. We thought it is good to live. Look in the atlas and you will find it there. Our country still exists. Our country still exists. If you look in the map, you will find the country there. The country is still there, but we can't go there. We cannot go there now, my dear, we cannot go there now. In the village churchyard, there grows an old yew. Every spring it blossoms anew. Old passports can't do that, my dear, old passports can't do that. In the village churchyard, there grows an old yew. Yew is yew tree. It is the name of a tree, yew. In the village churchyard, there grows an old yew. A tree, a yew tree, grows in the village churchyard. Every spring it blossoms anew. Every spring it blossoms. It blooms every spring, every year. It yields flowers. It produces flowers every year. Old passports can't do that. We are living in a foreign country. We are living in a foreign country with a passport that expired. With a passport that expired. It can't be renewed. There is no way to renew the passport. Unlike the yew tree that blossoms every year. The passport does not have the ability to renew itself, just like the yew tree, which yields flowers every year. Old passports can't do that, my dear. Old passports can't do that. We are unable to get our passports renewed. So here you can also notice the difference between nature and culture. In nature, everything is renewed. The consul banged the table and said, "If you have got no passport, you are officially dead. But we are still alive, my dear, but we are still alive." The consul is an official appointed by a government to protect its interests and also to help its people in a foreign country. Consul, a diplomat. The consul banged the table. The consul who is dealing with the refugees. In anger, he banged the table. He struck hard on the table and said, "If you have got no passport, you are officially dead." If you have no passport, it means that you are officially dead. You are officially dead if you don't have a passport. Only if you have a passport, you can be considered alive. The speaker says, but we are still alive, my dear, but we are still alive. Though the council says we are dead, the fact is that we are still alive. Went to a committee, they offered me a chair. Asked me politely to return next year. But where shall we go today, my dear? But where shall we go today? The speaker went to a committee dealing with the refugee problems. They offered me a chair, asked me politely to return next year. They asked me politely to return next year, get back next year. You can't live in this country without a passport. You go now and you leave the country now and get back next year. That's what the committee members asked. But where shall we go today, my dear? But where shall we go today? But there is no place for us to go. Where shall we go today, my dear? But where shall we go today? Until next year, where will we stay? Until next year, where will we stay? So the committee members ask the speaker to get back next year. He has to leave the country now. But the speaker is asking, where will we stay until next year? Where will we go today? But where shall we go today? Came to a public meeting, the speaker got up and said, if we let them in, they will steal our daily bread. He was talking of you and me, my dear. He was talking of you and me. The speaker went to a public meeting. Then he heard the speaker saying, if we let them in, they will steal our daily bread. If we let the refugees in, they will steal our daily bread. They will take up our jobs. They will eat our food. They will steal our daily bread. He was talking of you and me, my dear. He was talking of you and me. When the speaker says these words, he means us. He was talking of you and me, my dear. He was talking of you and me. Thought I heard the thunder rumbling in the sky. It was Hitler over Europe saying they must die. Oh, we were in his mind, my dear. Oh, we were in his mind. I hear a thunderous voice. I hear a thunderous voice. It is Hitler's voice. Hitler is shouting, they must die. Hitler is shouting, they must die. Then, oh, we were in his mind, my dear. Oh, we were in his mind. When Hitler says that they must die, he means us. We were in his mind when he says they must die. So a poodle in a jacket fastened with a pin, so a door opened in and a cat let in. but they weren't German Jews, my dear, but they weren't German Jews. So, a poodle in a jacket. Poodle is a small type of dog. A small type of dog. A pet dog. People treat their pet animals with great care. With great care, they look after their pet animals. They dress the dog in a jacket fastened with a pin, and the cat, a door opened and a cat let in. Pet animals like dog, cat, etc. are well looked after. They are cared with great affection, treated with affection. But the condition of the Jews is worse than the animals. They weren't German Jews, my dear, but they weren't German Jews. The condition of the German Jews is worse than that of the animals. The animals have a better life than human beings, the Jews. Went down the harbour and stood upon the quay, saw the fish swimming as if they were free, only 10 feet away, my dear, only 10 feet away. The speaker goes to a harbour. He is standing upon the quay. Quay is the platform, stone or wooden platform projecting into the waters. For loading and unloading ships. Went down the harbour and stood upon the quay, saw the fish swimming as if they were free. The speaker saw the fish swimming freely, as if they were free. Only 10 feet away, my dear, only 10 feet. So even the fish live, they are free to move anywhere. Wherever they want, they are free to move. But the human beings, the German Jews, are not free to move as they like. Walked through a wood, saw the birds in the trees. They had no politicians and sang at their ease. They were in the human race, my dear, they were in the human race. When the speaker is walking through a forest, he saw the birds in the trees. In the branches of the trees, he saw birds. These birds are singing in joy. The birds are singing in joy. The speaker says that it is because there is no politician among the birds. There is no politician among the birds with the selfish interests. That's why they are so happy. They are so happy because there are no politician among them. But the life of the human beings is made miserable by the selfish politicians. They were into the human race, my dear, they were into the human race. Dreamed I saw a building with 1,000 floors, 1,000 windows and 1,000 doors. No one of them was ours, my dear, not one of them was ours. The speaker here speaks of a dream that he saw. dreamed I saw a building. In his dream, he saw a building with 1,000 floors, a very large building. It is also an instance of hyperbole. Figure of speech is hyperbole here. I saw a building with 1,000 floors, 1,000 windows and 1,000 doors. Such a huge building I saw in my dream. A huge building with 1,000 windows, 1,000 doors, 1,000 floors. Not one of them was ours, my dear. Not one of them was ours. But there is no room for the German Jews. Stood on a great plain in the falling snow, 10,000 soldiers marched to and fro, looking for you and me, my dear, looking for you and me. The speaker is standing on a great plain in the falling snow. He could see 10,000 soldiers marching to and fro. Hitler's soldiers, 10,000 soldiers marching to and fro. Here also hyperbole is used. The figure of speech is hyperbole. 10,000 soldiers marched to and fro, looking for you and me, my dear, looking for you and me. They are looking for us. They are really looking for us in order to kill us. So this poem is written in 12 stanzas of 3 lines with the rhyme scheme A-A-B. The poem is of special importance in the present global context in which migration has emerged as a burning problem. The repetition of the phrases of the last lines of each stanza and the insertion of my dear in between makes the poem really very touching, emotional and powerful. Okay, thank you.